they were looking for another Nicole. Like, okay, he's dumped Nicole. That's gone. He's got his kids. He's moving forward, but he really likes having a woman.
Tom Cruise is still metaphorically flying high. He celebrated his 60th birthday on July 3rd and shows no signs of slowing down. Top Gun: Maverick has grossed over $1 billion since its release in May, making it the first picture in Cruise's career to do so and only the second film to do so since the epidemic began in 2020. Tom Cruise is now seen as the protagonist in a film that never ends. He always rescues the day in this one, but it wasn't always like this. "I like treating a woman the way that she deserves to be treated," Tom Cruise said to Oprah Winfrey, 2005. In the latest round of killer Tom Cruise publicity, there's an oddity. For once, the press is really into the way he interacts with women. Tom Cruise has received one positive headline after another during his Top Gun press tour for his chivalrous habit of taking command of all ladies present, from Kate Middleton to his co-stars. In her coverage of Cannes, gossip maven Elaine Lewy remarked on how carefully Cruise looked after Top Gun co-star Jennifer Connelly. "I'm told he was never not attentive," Lewy wrote, "always focused on making sure she was looked after, never not ready with a hand to guide her from one place to another, never missing an opportunity to talk about how spectacular she looked, seemingly enthralled by her so that the cameras would pick up on his eyeline and transfer their focus to her." This display of chivalry, Lewy concluded, was very Tom Cruise. Chivalry is an aspect of the old-fashioned action hero masculinity Tom Cruise has long embodied, the hero with the square jaw and impeccable manners, who is courteous and attentive to everyone around him. For a long time, it has also been crucial to Tom Cruise's personal mythology in both good and negative ways. On the plus side, Cruise was frequently featured in the press for rescuing ordinary people, rescuing a family from a burning sailboat, transporting a hit-and-run victim to the hospital, and then covering her medical fees. Every actor who has ever worked with him seems to have a Tom Cruise story about him giving them some improbable gesture or gift. On the bad side, quote Elaine Lewy, "Remember how he used to present Katie Holmes?" Watch the following clip from an insider on how Katie Holmes suddenly entered Tom's life and he appeared to be absolutely smitten by her.
Then somehow, some way, Katie Holmes got into the orbit, and she was not a Scientologist, but somehow that happened.
The public demonstrations of devotion during Cruise's 2005 marriage to Katie Holmes were notable. Cruise was continually putting Holmes in front of the camera, cuddling up to her in public, and professing his love for her in even more impassioned ways. Even before he leaped up and down on Oprah's couch, sending his career into a tailspin, he told Oprah that he had decorated a hotel room with rose petals for Holmes and taken her on a motorbike trip on the beach. "I'm a romantic, okay," Cruise said at the time. "I like treating a woman the way that she deserves to be treated."
They get married, again, have Surrey. Then, 6 years later, she arranges to escape from him.
Then came the massive and catastrophic public backlash in 2012 when Katie Holmes divorced Cruise. The stories kept coming.
And she called him. Well, she waited until he was out of town up in Iceland doing a film shoot. And she then called him and said, "We're done." And apparently it blindsided him.
Holmes had planned the divorce for 2 years in order to ensure she kept custody of the couple's daughter, Surrey, that she had to orchestrate the whole thing with burner phones and secret laptops and lawyers in multiple states, that she had done it all, developed this entire 2-year master plan, because she was so desperate for full custody of Surrey. According to the account, Holmes intended to save Surrey from Scientology. Despite the fact that the divorce was not publicly fought, Tom did have one condition regarding Katie's future love life. Katie signed a clause in her quickie divorce settlement that prevents her from embarrassing Tom in various ways, like talking about him or Scientology or publicly dating another man for 5 years after the divorce, a source told Radar Online. She's allowed to date, but she cannot do so in a public fashion, and she's not supposed to let any boyfriend near their daughter, Surrey. But why would she agree to anything that would effectively prevent her from openly dating anyone in public until at least 2017? The report explained Katie wanted out of the marriage so badly, she agreed to the terms and got $4.8 million in child support, plus another $5 million for herself. After apparently seeing Fox since 2013, she finally announced her relationship with him in 2019 at the Met Gala. It's unclear whether the deal was related to his Scientology membership, but it meant that the actress couldn't publicly discuss her relationship with Jamie Foxx for at least 5 years. That's what drives me, is that I know we have an opportunity to really help, for the first time, effectively change people's lives. And I am dedicated to that. I am absolutely, uncompromisingly dedicated to that, said Tom Cruise's Scientology recruitment video, 2004. The controversial Church of Scientology, founded in 1953 by science fiction writer L. Ron Hubbard, appeals to Cruz's worldview. Scientology preaches that the world is under attack from bad forces, and the only thing standing in their way is one decent man who isn't going to allow trivial regulations to get in his way. Scientology is also a public relations liability, despite the fact that it has a slew of celebrities among its ranks. According to lawsuits and complaints from former members, it is generally suspected of being a pyramid scheme at best and an abusive cult profiteering from forced labor and human trafficking at worst. Its fundamental theology, which teaches that humans are afflicted by immortal alien spirits known as thetans who were transported to Earth billions of years ago by the galactic emperor Zenu, is ripe for ridicule. After Top Gun had already made him a success, Cruz joined the Church of Scientology during his first marriage to Scientologist Mimi Rogers. According to now defunct former church authorities, he began to wander away from active practice during the 1990s and his marriage to Nicole Kidman, only to return when that marriage failed in the late 1990s. The clincher came, those former Scientologists saying going clear when Cruz said he wanted to tap Kidman's phone, and the Church of Scientology obliged. Holmes appeared to be swept up in the Scientology whirlwind as well, as Scientology chaperone prodded Holmes with phrases about how much she loved Cruz when she fumbled for words in a W magazine article of Holmes. However, public criticism followed Cruz everywhere he went after the Oprah Winfrey episode. Cruz, recognizing the writing on the wall, avoided discussing his religion throughout his movie press tours. Scientology would continue to shadow his public image for the next 10 years. After his relationships with Nicole Kidman and his most recent girlfriend, Penelope Cruz, ended due to differences in Scientology beliefs, Cruz needed a companion to help promote Scientology. For a time, Holmes was the ideal match. According to Vanity Fair, Boniati was a gorgeous, petite, Iranian-born woman in her mid-22s who had been raised in London and whose mother was also a Scientologist. Before she became the well-known campaigner and actress she is today, she was summoned by a high-ranking church official to the Celebrity Center International, a Scientology facility dedicated to transforming ordinary people into celebrities. What followed was the church effectively manipulating Boniati into a relationship with Cruz out of their loyalty to him. She was supposed to be the ideal girlfriend for Cruz, but everything changed when Scientology leader David Miscavige and his wife Shelley paid a visit to their Telluride home. Why? Because she failed to entertain David's wife Shelley. During the conversation, she apparently struggled to keep up with David's rapid-fire English speaking and questioned "excuse me" multiple times. It didn't end well, with Tom and the church kicking Boniati to the curb as soon as it went wrong even slightly. The Cruz-Holmes divorce opened the door to Tom Cruise Scientology stories in 2012. Former Scientology employees claim that the church has continued to regulate Cruz's life. According to reports, it has provided him full access to the church's more nefarious operations, including the alleged exploitation of slave labor. According to former Scientologist John Browso, the church has custom-built luxury automobiles and sound systems for Cruz, as well as providing workers to maintain his multiple houses. The image of Cruz painted by former church members is not flattering. They usually depict Cruz as a well-meaning man who isn't really inquiring and is content to have lovely things delivered to him without question. According to this perspective, Cruz is drawn to Scientology because it simplifies his life while also feeding his ego with the sense that he is a hero. Regardless of how devastating those stories are, they have largely gone from public memory. Tom Cruise has worked hard to shift the narrative in the 10 years since his divorce from Katie Holmes. Only time will tell if it will work this time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Goodbye.